Good afternoon guys, on what is a wet and windy St George's Day here in England. If you celebrate it, happy St George's Day. If not, happy Tuesday everybody else. Today we are at North Luffenham. It is an old military RAF base taken over by the army after I think it was circa 1997. Sorry if there's a few smudges there, I've been wiping rain off as we go. But we're out here exploring what remains of the old Thor site. If you remember, I think it was the tail end of the summer last year, we went to another site, Harrington, which was home to the carpetbaggers. They used to drop sort of pamphlets over Germany back in the day, as well as doing carpet bombing, etc. But there we found the old Project MLE 4 missile site, which held 3 nuclear missiles, all pointed at Russia. We have identical ones here, but I think they also use them as military training facilities. So you've got a few vehicles, like I believe it to be a Sea King. I'm probably totally wrong guys, you'll know more than I will, but the old dumped helicopter behind me. So anyway guys, come and join us. Kind of guessing these are like training facilities for the troops. Maybe they hunker down and they attack it from these areas here, although it does look like some sort of parking bay. The old pigeons flew out, roosting in now. But yeah, I don't know, it's just, unless this is some form of, I don't know, you get that old soft air, that type of thing. But it could be training compound for the military. A little bit of refuge from the rain outside, but it doesn't really say what was in the boxes or what's taped up. The sound you can hear, not the birds but the barking, is military combat dogs in training behind us. We are right next to an army barracks. Hut 224, probably just full of, yeah, electric housings, etc. Do not have a clue what these would have been for. Boiler alarm. Well, the British weather certainly doesn't do us any favours. This will be part of an old perimeter road of the runway of the site, and off to our right over there is a sort of dilapidated old, maybe a Sea King, something like that. It's certainly a helicopter, and it's certainly in the yellow colours of like Coast Guard, RAF, those more sort of the facilities of helping people out rather than combatants. Sorry about the rain on the lens guys. She's certainly a big girl. I was expecting something a little bit more smaller. Is that a Westland possibly? If any of you remember the old Westlands, I think it was, we had a display at our school back in the mid-80s, and it was the company was something to do with Michael Heseltine, or he got involved with it and he ended up losing his job because I think it was a bailout or something. But that is not something you see every day. Is it the sort of thing that Prince William was flying around in? All the fine, intricate, delicate bits and pieces. Paul there spooked out by another one of our flying friends, the old pigeons. Jumped out on him, yeah, but these are all your electrics, motors, drives, etc. Very, very light aluminium. I suppose it's expected to be to keep it in the air. Not that it did it much good. This would be where your pilot and co-pilot would sit. Still some intricate parts left. The old base of a seat. But wow guys, you don't see these every day, that's for sure. what is left of your main rotary propeller. So the question is, what happened? Did it simply just become obsolete and they dumped it here? Cool if they did. Or did it have some form of malfunction, crash at some site, and then it was put here? Whatever. I simply love it. Here's your tail end. Come on, Rain, give us a break. This is a bit like Checkpoint Charlie here, as we make our way through to where the missiles were housed, which are further in the distance over the back there. We're going to make our way along here to what looks like an old radar truck sitting in the field over there. That there, guys, will be your old runway. I think it's been many decades since something's come thundering along that. These are just units. I don't know what their purpose was. Obviously you've got storage bits up the top there. One of you guys out there will know. A chalkboard, so it has some sort of military meaning and planning, etc. Probably just for the site. An old rusty door. Certainly military spec. Could just simply be an old toilet facility. Sorry again, guys, that wind is blowing a good one out here. But here, looks like two vehicles side by side. One in front is certainly an old radar truck. Probably, I don't know, maybe 80s, even 90s spec. Cold War even. What remains of it. It's just so bizarre. I know obviously we are on an old military site, but just to leave something like this sitting here, certainly not expected. Whether you can get access, probably that one you certainly can, that's open. I think they're both the same, but one's older than the other. Wow, look at all them electrics. Dial, switches, buttons, and if you know what I'm like in a theme park, I have a field day in here. There are some chunky old wheels on this thing. Kind of reminds me of the wheels I had on the mystery machine I had years back. This one, guys, certainly seen better days. Even looks as if it could have been hit by a missile. Couple of old tables, drawers, other contents. The more I think about this place, the more I think they sort of play their own version of soft air around here, but with full military spec rifles, etc. A concrete track leading to the first of our 4 missile sites. I suppose this area here might have used to have had cabling, electrics, maybe some sort of ignition area. I just don't know, to be honest with you guys. Probably you make a lot of it up as you go along. These are pretty strange as well. The way they've just sat there and rotted, looks as if they feel at home in something like Star Wars. But I'm sure there may be, I don't know, fuel related. Somewhere along here would be directional of where the missile would have sat. It wouldn't have been housed in it, there would have been a canopy as well, when it was on standby, which I suppose they could probably get these things out of a hangar along to here within maybe 30 minutes, ready to go. This bit here, the central hub bit, looks as if that could be a mountain of where the missile would maybe sit up. These are blast walls. And this area here looks as if that's where your fuel for the rocket might have been pumped in. Look at that. In a sea of rust and rot. Look at that. Never going to rot away. Yeah, this is, apart from the vehicles, I suppose they're all uniformed. Oh yeah, look, talking of vehicles, we'll certainly be having a look over there in a bit. The layout is identical to Harrington. I suppose it had to be, really. And these were, I think there was only 3 missiles kept at each site, all pointing towards Russia and ready to go in an instant. The old Cold War, Cuban Missile Crisis, etc. We're talking that era. Take that little opportunity to seek a little refuge from the rain. This is rotten as a pear in here as well, but at least it's dry. And here comes a wet pool. I said that's another duplicate missile site, and that's a raised pillbox. Very unusual in the way that they are, if they are of course pillboxes as we know them. This reminds me very much of a movie that we see over the weekend, Civil War. It was pretty brutal, about some photographers and journalists trying to get an interview with an outgoing, well, he was forced out president in America with, I think they call them the West Forces. It was California and Texas and possibly parts of Florida as well, that stood up against other parts of America and formed a civil war. Wow, there's a heck of a lot of stuff in here. At least it's drying away from the rain. This sort of reminds me of like an operational station. It's very similar to like Bletchley Park possibly, depending on what these dials do. Plugs, fuses. As I said, these huts are very prominent in the shed area at the back of Bletchley Park. So maybe I know they're trained here also for your listening. You had people specifically trained in listening out for Mandarin and Russian language, etc., and dissecting, deciphering what they're talking about. Could be that. Honestly don't know. Someone out there does. All these little dinks. Pretty sure, unless it's someone going around messing about with a hammer, they're indentations from bullets. And these are significantly larger, different bore. And that, whatever done that, gave it total destruction. The only thing is, you turn around saying the way that's peeled out is from the inside out, not reverse. It's not gone in, it's come out. So it's probably staged. While I'm gaining a little bit of shelter, I can tell you about a story that I read about the other day. It was quite funny. Something to do with the Second World War, and I know humours didn't have a great factor to play in it, but we seemed to play a game with the Germans during the Second World War of false information, etc. and there was one significant incident where we'd put up fake bits and pieces, fake aircraft, etc., but they made a full fake base made out of wood, wooden planes, wooden tanks, wooden buildings, probably put some troops that were cutouts, etc., and they put them there deliberately to mislead us to going into bombing it. But we knew about it from the moment they started to build it, and actually flew over it with a fake wooden missile and dropped that one singular missile on top of the base, just to look and turn around and say, look, we got ya. Believe it or not, guys, that would have housed some sort of warhead. I'm not kidding to you, there must be some sort of markings on it somewhere, but a missile would have been housed in there. Here you go, around here. There we go, warhead section. That was how they would transport missiles to probably be put on an aircraft, or whether that was surface to air, who knows. They're just sitting here rotting away. Obviously the missile's no longer in there, it's just a housing, but pretty damn cool. Some really weird looking things. What the heck is that? That's the sort of thing you find on a boat or a sub. It's airtight. What'd that be for? Nuclear? Really weird. Certainly rusting away, but we are proud of our Royal Air Force. I'd certainly say that that has been the strangest thing I've found on site. Someone's going to know, but it's not decompression, should I even say, or at least I don't believe it is, but it's certainly airtight. Maybe for operating in the field with nuclear, it could be anything like that. More little field units just dumped to one side. Maybe pumps of some form or other. Okay, you walk around and luckily enough you find a way in, so he says. Well, after a heck of a lot of effort we got in, and I have not got a clue what this is. I said it's airtight. Operational for something or whatever. Maybe it was just for training. And the echo in here is pretty cool. It's got lights up there as well. I don't know why, guys, but I feel like a bloody astronaut in here. But we have other things to venture off and see, so I'll make my way out. Don't know who produced these, but I'm loving the ghostly effect. That one there, and this one here specifically. They are super cool. If you did them, give yourself a pat on the back, mate. Aha, now we're talking. We have armoured personnel vehicle and a light tank. Well, we'll have a look at this little compound over here to find out what's going on over there, and then certainly come back and have a look, because that is a thing of beauty. I think it's a bulldog. They use them in the Iraq War. Oh, we'll be back for that, that's for sure. What the heck is this? Can't work it out. You can see it's had dog tracks around it, so maybe they use it for training. Certainly weird. He said it comes across like war games. Don't know if you're getting them vibes the same as I am. But maybe they send the troops out and they got to defend a position from an incoming force, or vice versa, they got to take the position. And this is what we end up left with. would have had a purpose back in the day. Very derelict now. Pigeons scared the life out of me, as they normally do. He's probably made his way out. Aerial compound, it says on the wall behind me. So I'd imagine prior to whatever's gone on, this was some sort of workstation for the old RAF base. It said they left here in '97 and then the army took over. Yeah, that, my friends, is I believe an FV432, aka Bulldog armoured personnel carrier or light tank. So using the Gulf War, I think, yeah, possibly mounted with what they called L7G PMG or a Bren. If you're of an older generation like myself, would have been mounted at the top there. That's a thing of beauty, that is. Dell, me old work buddy, you be in your element, you love your tanks. Just the noise of these tracks in whatever field of conflict you was in, if you was on foot with just small arms, in some cases you'd be panicking right now if they come towards you. I think they were pretty nippy as well. Well, this would be the view if I was driving the thing. So cool to actually be in an old Bulldog. Rusting away here quite happily, but it's a bit of our history. Talk about claustrophobic though. These are your sticks for moving left and right, etc. Really, really weird. Never thought I'd ever be sat in one, so it's certainly unusual. Wonder how many years this has just sat here rotting away. There's a turret there. Pretty damn cool, guys, pretty damn cool. Well, from our beautiful tank, or Bulldog, to whatever this was. It's our first shot we've heard fired. The level of destruction that these things will take. Oh, Jesus, that is solid. Very tight as well. I'd never drive that. I think that's probably the signal for us to make our way to safer ground. You can hear them shots in the distance. That'll be the British Army for you. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for this explorer of RAF North Luffenham, or the old North Luffenham RAF base, which is now owned by the Army. I'm not sure the name of the barracks, but we've enjoyed it. I've actually got to climb around an old Bulldog, an old light armoured vehicle, reconnaissance style tank. Found myself an old used smoke grenade, nice little souvenir just lying around on the floor. And with that guys, check out Adventures of Paul's channel. We're off to see what we can find on our way back to Milton Keynes. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you in the movies. Bye for now.
Bye for now. Bye for now.